Hi, this is Tom Jacobs from tdjacobs.com. I'm an evolutionary astrologer and also an energy worker and a channel. Pardon my voice today. I've been just a little under the weather with a sinus thing. And I've been thinking about doing a video about a certain thing, and then this thing about Mookaite came up today. So I thought it's actually related to that, so the timing feels right. So bear with me with my voice, and if I have to get a little cough drop or whatever, or cough or whatever. So again, at tdjacobs.com, are all the tools and tricks that I offer, and also at healingsuicide.com, there's an explanation of soul and suicide and what happens after life and how to deal with difficult emotions that may push us towards suicide. Everything can be healed, but some things are really hard to deal with. So anyway, check out those two sites, tdjacobs.com and also healingsuicide.com. So this video today is about Mookaite and also kind of a bit of a primer on spirit guides. And I want you to understand the sixth chakra, what guides are, who guides are, and also to get a sense of this particular programmed crystal that I offer. And I'll show you some examples. What happened is a client who put in an order for some crystals wrote me after that and said, hey, by the way, I couldn't find Mookaite in the table. I could in the menu on your site, but it doesn't show up in the main table, which is where people are going to access, you know, those things. And I said, there's something weird about that. I knew something was wrong, but I just didn't catch the details. So I thanked her, and then I added it in there. And then I was looking at the Mookaites on my site, and I was like, yeah, it's been a long time since I've hung out with Mookaite. So I wanted to do a video on Mookaite, and then in that process, talk about what it means to be spiritual and what it means to work with your guides. That's kind of what I want to go into today. So it's a little about the crystal. It's a lot about these other things that this crystal happens to support. Now, just for contrast, I do want to say I offer other sixth chakra crystals, notably labradorite, which balances left and right mind, which is very powerful, and then also grounds sixth chakra, those two together, to the third chakra. So intuition and logic are connected to your gut instinct. So you don't fly off, you don't veer into saying the wrong thing because you resonates in your gut. A clear yes, no, is this information useful, is it valuable? Should I say this thing I'm picking up on, right? So it not only helps you pick up on stuff, but also ground that. So there's a retraining with the labradorite in retraining you to become more conscious about how you pick up things and how you use it. Mookaite is very different. Mookaite is a slow, kind of a gentle washing over your sixth chakra, peeling back layers, or if you think about curtains, slowly revealing what's behind the curtains. And so Mookaite's a slow, gentle process, and I want to describe what that's about and how the guide idea, how the guidance fits into it. So let me show you some examples of Mookaite. I showed you that one, and I have several that are this color scheme, this red with the white and pink kind of edges, and some of them I have are actually pretty big, which I actually appreciate. Here's the other largest one I have right now. So you see, it's kind of a really dark red, and this one, a lot of these are cut from similar pieces. So, for example, you can tell that. These two come from the same piece, you know what I mean? So, okay. But this one is just like a big chunk, and I took the rough edges off so you could hold it comfortably. Let me show you one other one that's kind of like different kinds of mocha colors. I guess it looks really yellow with this lighting, but it looks really kind of brownish purple and cream colored there. And the other example is, actually two more examples. One is this kind of dark purplish one, and the other one is this burgundy trifle. I don't know. It looks like a dessert with cake and cream. I don't know. But anyway, I did leave parts of that rough because I love this piece. It's almost kind of hard to make available to everybody else. But anyway, so it can come in different colors. And it's from the Mooka Creek area in Western Australia. And it's made of radiolaria or radiolarians, right? Radiolarians. And these are, and I looked this up because I just want to give you this context of what they are. Hold on one second. Let me just go to the Wikipedia page. And this is under mineralogy and petrology section toward the top of the page. And it says radiolarians are marine, right? So they're in the water or from the sea. Planktonic protists with an inner skeleton. So if you know what moldavite is, it's glass made from the fireball, resulting from the fireball from a meteorite's impact. If you know what Orlite 23 is, you have a sense of what these things are. Oh yeah, that's a crystal. Look at the chevrons, it grows. Tiger iron. One example here, I have some beads on my desk. A tiger iron, right? It's a banded combination of different minerals, right? And they're pressed together. Blah 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 blah. These are in the quartz family, or what? There's different classifications. Planktonic protists with an inner skeleton. So when you hover on planktonic, it says. Of course, and you've probably heard this, remember this from your 9th grade biology class, plankton are the diverse collection of organisms that live in large bodies of water and are unable to swim against a current. So think about the symbolism here. The individual organisms constituting plankton are called plankters. They provide a crucial source of food to many large organisms, blah, blah, blah. So they are planktonic, right? Protists. A protist is any eukaryotic organism that is not an animal, plant, or fungus. They don't form a natural group or clade since they exclude certain eukaryotes, but like algae or invertebrates, they're often grouped together for convenience. So essentially, we're talking about this is made of the remains, the little skeletons of these little beings that can't be classified easily. And they can't swim. And one thing that defines them is being planktonic. They can't swim against a current. Okay, so that's the setup. So I wanted to show you this other one, which is like this really rich burgundy with yellow highlights. I'm particularly fond of a lot of these Mookaites, but I forgot. It's been so long since I played with them, as I've been focused on so many other things. So that's the setup. It's the remains of little beings that essentially become the mud. And then over, a long period of geologic time or over geologic time become hardened. So some of it is extremely hard and some of it is less hard. Like in this batch, these dark green-gray pieces are extremely hard and I have only polished the edges. So I'm going to show you this, how you can still see the curvature, like the lines of the saw. That's from the cutting, because there's no expletiving way I was going to spend 75 hours making this pretty. What I'm saying? It takes so long. So some of it's super hard, and then this stuff is much more soft, especially with the light colored and the white edges. It's extremely soft. So that just varies. Just the hardness of it varies, and you can find what you're drawn to. Like if I explain this to you and you're like, yes, Mookaite is the stone for me. Then you go to my site and you're drawn to all the purplish, yellow ones, but you're not drawn to the red ones at all, or vice versa. You kind of, the density of it is what will appeal to you and what might be the right one for you. So anyway, there are differences in density. So traditionally, they're said to help you be flexible. And that's one of the things I use them for. Not being rigid with my expectations or my judgments or my idea of how things should be, but being more open-minded and flexible, kind of like a Gemini frequency. Mercurial Gemini, open to change is kind of how I think of it. Also, connecting you to dream time, right, is one of the ideas. So information from dreams, tapping into the collective unconscious, getting actual straight up guidance from your guides in your dreams or the guides of others if you have permission. And then that while sleeping, but then also while waking, a more open 6th chakra connection. So if you said to me, how can I connect with and work with and live in more accord and harmony with my spirit guides? This is a crystal I would recommend, the Mookaite. I would also say, you have to realize that those beings can only communicate with you over frequencies of love and all of its variants, compassion, support, acknowledgement, forgiveness, all those kinds of things, love and like. So evaluate your fears, go through the chakras, start with the chakra course, and go root through seventh one by one, and discern your fears and work with them one by one, your pains, your fears, regrets, guilt, shame, trauma, all those things, because that helps you shift your frequency into being more loving so you can connect with guides. But then the Mookaite could actually help be that thing that inspires the bridge to connect, right? But if you're afraid and anxious and guilty and ashamed, you won't be able to find your guides. So that's just a general idea. We'll talk more about guides in a minute. So with the Mookaite, it's a very gentle process whereby you find out, you see a higher truth. I did a video a few weeks ago about, what do I mean when I say that crystal is high vibrating? And I explained that when I announced the 25% off during December, which is still in play. Today's the 23rd of December. It's in play till the end of the day, Pacific time, on the 31st. Every crystal on my site, 25% off. Use the code I am empowered at checkout, but only for crystals. So if you want to get books and MP3s too, do it in a separate transaction. That's the point. So talk about the high vibrating thing. In this case, this is a very gentle, slow unraveling, and it can be of mental tension or the need to try to control things through your mind or your logical self. And you realize that you're seeing another perspective, or you realize that you're saying the thing and the person says, what's going on? And you say, I think I'm channeling your guides. Intuition is natural and normal for everybody. When I was taught to channel by the Ascended Master, Jehudi, Thoth, Saint Germain, Hermes, Merlin, this dude, he taught me to go into my lower chakras first, the lower three, which is why I teach grounding so often and so much. And then you let the other four chakras, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, relax open as they will naturally. So you focus on the grounding, and then intuition naturally relaxes open. I use the tiger iron to begin channeling an Ascended Master, which a lot of people think is counterintuitive, because aren't you supposed to go up in your vibrational field? So anyway, with Mookaite, it's a gentle process where you might not realize that you are saying something that is guidance for somebody, right? You might not realize it. You might think on a particular issue in your life and only get so far, and then keep Mookaite with you, sleep with it, ask questions, hold it, take it for a walk. You might meditate with it, but have it with you every day until you start to see a different perspective and see what's really going on. And you'll see a curtain part. What you thought was the reason for something, a curtain, a veil may part, and you'll see behind it. And when I had this experience, the loudest time I had that experience with Mookaite, it really was humbling. I was thinking about a childhood issue, and I was thinking about it through the lens of psychology. And I got this insight into what was really going on, and it was about the heart. It wasn't about my analytical function. And it really stopped me in my tracks. And I saw the thing behind the thing. So sixth chakra, seeing intuitively. So that's the idea on the Mookaite. And like I said, it's a gentle process. The labradorite can be kind of acute and quick. You ask a question, I wonder why this is the way it is. And an hour later, 2 minutes, 3 weeks later, you suddenly have a flash of insight. And that's the symbolism of the labradorescence, or the flash, when you turn a labradorite from side to side and catch a different plane of light. With the Mookaite, it's very gentle and very different. Now, with the Mookaite, you might feel blissed out and connected to a loving presence. You might feel not productive and not interested in logic or your deadlines or responsibilities. So it's something that I think is good to have in your toolbox to get used to. And unless you're doing intuitive work all the time, don't use it 24/7, but sit down, spend 20, 30 minutes with it every day and asking questions of your guides, of your higher self, of your inner self. Asking those questions, and it will organically unfold. You will start to see the answer. And if you hold something that seems like an answer long enough, it'll either vibrate as more true and you'll become more confident in it, or it will A curtain will, will part, and you will find out what's behind it. In my case, I was looking at the thing, and literally the symbolism was as if looking at the back of a stage and saying, oh, that's the wall, the back of the stage. And then that was actually curtained and parted, and there was the wall. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it was like the truth behind it. So gently revealing that. So that's what the Mookaite's for. Now I want to talk a little about guides and how to work with them. And again, the Mookaite can help you with this if you kind of understand this idea of getting grounded first and then allowing the upper chakras to open. Everybody has guides. Everybody does. Your team, anybody's team might rotate or have a revolving door, but you have at least one during all periods of your life. You might have 3, 4, or 7, or 10. You might have a team that kind of does one function. So a reader might say to you, have 10 guides, but 4 kind of focused on this one task. Are these 3 are focused on this other task? It depends on what agreements you have with other souls and other beings, but also what you need in any given period or chapter of your life. So the guides, this is how I like to think of it. Your guides can read the manual that your soul wrote for your human life. But odds are you can't read it. Odds are you may feel like I've made a mistake here. Oh, what a boneheaded decision there. Oh, what a thing I regret. Oh, I feel ashamed about that choice. Or, oh, I lost this. I wasted time. I lost money. I trusted the wrong person. Your personality and your linear logical self, your mind, might have all these judgments about your experiences. But if it happened and it affected you, then it serves your higher purpose as a soul living a human life, learning what it means to be human. So guides can see what's in your highest good because they see the, so to speak, the ideal that your soul intends, meaning you will learn over time through different human experiences how to go from fear into love. And that's the arc, the story arc of every human life. The opportunity, which is a challenge, to find oneself in fear and pain, and to need to learn how to grow into love and acceptance. So if you made a mistake or somebody betrayed you or lied to you or abandoned you or cheated or whatever, hurt you in some way, all the list of terrible things people do to each other and themselves, I guarantee you, and your guides will guarantee you, it fits with your journey, with your soul's mission for you to learn how to go from fear into love. So the guides can read this manual that your personality may not always be able to. Now I say may not always be able to, and I said highly likely can't earlier, because your mind is always looking at things through the lens of logic in terms of how you can better protect yourself later from pain, mistake, shame, guilt, whatever. So your brain is like an analyst constantly evaluating how the security protocols have gone. Your brain's like, the morning manager at a building that has like overnight security, and this person is watching the tapes and reading the reports of what happened overnight and how can we improve this process. We have a vulnerability over in building D on the southwest corner. There seems to be a problem with the fence or whatever, or whatever it is. So your brain is like a security guard, an analyst, trying to manage to make sure you are safe. Well, your soul knows, and therefore your guides know, that what is in your highest good involves finding yourself, I'm repeating myself, in pain and fear and guilt and shame, etc., so that you can learn to grow into a more loving place. The power that the soul knows is being loving, becoming loving. Your soul is already loving. You can't hurt it, you can't harm or offend it, but it's watching to see what will it take for this human to be willing to forgive this, or forgive himself for that, or let herself off the hook for this, or accept something that's painful as a helpful teaching. What will it take to go from fear into love regarding this kind of scenario, or that relationship, or the fact that it was somebody else's choice, or the fact that it was her choice? Your soul is watching you explore, learning how to become the source of love for yourself, learning how to become loving. So the guides are like teaching assistants for you. Don't think they are in charge of your life. Let's say it this way, it is best and most helpful not to think of them as in charge of your life, but they see the spiritual truth behind all of the garbage in your life. They see why this difficult family history or present day relationship is there. They see why the very painful end of this relationship or the loss of that person, why these things that affect you so deeply and painfully, why this is an important experience in your path as a soul, while human, to learn to become the source of love for yourself, to be in fear and pain and judgment, to go into love, acceptance, compassion, etc. So they're like teaching assistants or camp counselors. Well, that's not true, because they're actually in certain ways, especially camp counselors, like authority figures. But think about, what it's more like? It's more like a concierge at a hotel where you're vacationing. They have access to all the info. They have an idea of what you might like. They know what other people like. They might take a moment to listen to you and find out where you're coming from, and then suggest activities that might serve you. It's kind of like they're almost like a concierge in that way. So, and they will also make phone calls on your behalf. That's why I like that image beyond the others I was using or playing with. And they might hook you up with reservations to connect with these other souls over there. When you say, hey, this is kind of what I'm looking for, and they say, you know what, I know somebody who knows somebody, then the guides talk with each other behind the scenes to help orchestrate things that will help you grow. But again, some of these things are putting you in difficult scenarios where things are painful. So when you listen to your guides, when you are in harmony with them, you have to face difficult learnings. Humans want safety and security, and again, the mind wants to feel safe, so this gets tricky. So the way that Mookaite can support this includes helping you accept, even if something's difficult, it serves your highest good. Oralite 23 also does that too, because it connects you with your higher self. But this can it kind of can calm that linear logical self and open that intuitive self to, this higher frequency, this higher extra human level of understanding and conceiving of what's happening. I have to put them down because I'm losing my faculty of clear speech because it's smoothing everything out. So Mookaite can help you with that. And if you are willing to receive feedback, if you're willing to hear why this challenging thing serves you, well, then you're kind of, embodying what every soul wants its humans to do, which is to learn. Even if challenged or thrown into something difficult, to learn to go from fear into love. So the Mookaite can help you adapt to that higher frequency and accept and flow and be flexible. That idea of the Gemini frequency, being open-minded. It is about being curious, and I guarantee you'll find more curiosity. You'll wonder about this or that. You'll be interested in certain things too if you use Mookaite quite a lot. And you will notice new things and new ideas and new ways to do things. That's the kind of idea how I've ascribed kind of a Gemini idea to it. I don't know if you look it up, if other people will say that. It's just they will say flexibility, open-mindedness. I associate that with Gemini. So the Mookaite can help you adapt to these higher truths and better go with the flow by letting soothing the linear logical mind so you can be connected to a higher level of truth. Now, like I said, it could be having you blissed out sometimes, and maybe 24/7 that's not appropriate. Maybe you are an intuitive and want to streamline your process. Maybe you feel intuitive but aren't quite sure if you're really picking up on guides. That can help you. But you can use it to fine-tune your process. You can memorize the frequencies that I put in, because all these are energetically programmed. Beyond what normal Mookaite will do, these will do more. And you can memorize that frequency and incorporate that into your work and no longer have to use it 24/7 and then not be blissed out. But you can use it. Sorry, I got to put it down. It's losing my grip on my language. I spread them all out on my desk in front of me to be able to show you the examples, and now I'm really being affected by them. So maybe I'll just go across the room and finish talking off camera. So that is the idea. Your guides are here to help you, but sometimes they say this difficult, challenging thing is what you need to go through. Your mind won't want that, but your intuitive self can accept it and adapt. And that's one of the things that that Mookaite is good for. Now, to contrast it a little with the Labradorite, like I said before, Labradorite will be a quick, a little lightning flash, right? Mookaite will be a slow realization of the truth behind the apparent truth. I just want to contrast that for you. You might want to get one of each to have both, stimulating intuition and mind. But the Mookaite is definitely a more gentle thing. I remember when I started using it a few years ago, I started to sleep better, and I did have more dreams. Sleep for me has been an issue for years because I just unprocessed material from the unconscious in other lifetimes. Just I would always have a sense of doom and dread and gloom in my dreams. And one of the things that broke me that is when I got these two very large Orlite 23 pieces, which I have materials online about my experience with that. But Mookaite is also part of that because it soothes and relaxes and smooths over. And so you might even, if you have anxiety and you don't sleep well, or your mind doesn't stop, the Mookaite can help turn that into something positive so you can get some guidance. You'll feel connected to a higher truth and you can relax more. So that's the idea. So check out all the Mookaite I offer at tdjacobs.com until the end of 2018, through the end of December 31st, 2018. 25% off all of the program crystals on my site, including the ones that I have before not even given my subscribers discounts on, some of the larger moldavites. They're all 25% off. Use the code IAMEMPOWERED, no spaces, all lowercase. And if you want to see that spelled out, I'll put it in the description of this video. But that's through the end of 2018 at the checkout for crystals only. So check out tdjacobs.com and healingsuicide.com. And thanks for your time and energy. Take care of yourself.